I'm going to need a nap later.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, as you can see, I'm Carolyn Altman from Arizona, and this is not Paige from Florida. I haven't heard from Paige. We have been praying for Paige. I believe Hurricane Ian, I believe it is
Yes.
causing a little bit of destruction in Orlando. So, in the famous Women's Council way, we are moving forward. And I had Dina willing to step up and talk to us about a great event that they actually just had last night that I attended in the Phoenix area. Dina, I'm going to let you take it away because this was actually your very first dessert auction, correct?
It was. It was. So I'm Dina Greenwald. I am with the Arizona East Valley Women's Council Network, and we are located in Chandler, which is in the Southeast Valley of the Phoenix Metro. And so our president, Marge Peck, has had this idea for years and to do a dessert auction. And the Tucson Network has been doing one for several years. And Marge always likes to dream differently and think differently. So we took that idea and put that together. And last night was the first night or the first time we did it. We sold 160 tickets. I think we had 150 people there last night. You always have a little fallout, people's schedule changes, things like that.
Right.
But we had some great event sponsors. We had a beverage sponsor and tuxedo. Our MCs were in tuxedos. So just to give you a kind of the lay of the land, the whole idea was to create some fun around desserts. So when you think desserts, this wasn't your Boy Scout or your PTA, bake sale. People didn't bring cookies and, a plastic thing and sell them. These were handmade. A lot of them were handmade desserts by people who love to bake. Marge makes her famous carrot cake with cream cheese frosting, and it's decadent and very, very sweet, but it's very, very good. We actually had a challenge between three of the networks in Arizona, Lake Havasu with Allison Paoli, Lisa Pathrath from Prescott, and Marge. And the whole idea was to see how much money we could raise for each of those desserts. And then as a collaboration, we decided to split the money for those three challenge items with those networks. So they get half of the proceeds from whatever was raised last night. We also invited Sunshine Acres, which is a group home for foster kids. And so they came. We had 2 cakes dedicated to them. And I apologize, I don't have the numbers in front of me because I'm still trying to catch up with everything from last night. But they were there so they could collect their money, and they got all the proceeds from those 2 cakes, those 2 items that we auctioned off. We had 42 desserts that we auctioned off, everything from traditional, cakes. We had some cookies. We had a confectionery chocolatier, I think is what they're called, who donated some stuff that was awesome. We had all kinds of goodies. AJ's is a bakery here, a store and a bakery. They had some fabulous cakes there, and then everything in between. We also had a silent auction with, I think, 39 items. And I do know from that so far, because we're still processing, we had close to $7,000 just from the silent auction. And a lot of that stuff was very low price point items. But we wanted to give people who weren't into desserts or didn't want to play at that level an opportunity to buy some things. We had some raffle ticket items. So yes, that was the event. Our tables were absolutely gorgeous. We have a couple of vendors, affiliates who just are decorators extraordinaire. So the whole theme was Diamond Dessert Auction. So it was a fabulous night. We actually we ran out of a bunch of the beverages. Completely underestimated that. Our caterer did a fabulous job. We had light hors d'oeuvres and things for people. So, but like anything, we had some learning lessons too. So.
Right. And that's what we do. If you're joining us, this is not Paige. This is Dina from the Arizona East Valley and Arizona. And she had a dessert auction last night, and we are praying for Paige. The hurricane, we believe, did a little bit more damage to her area than we might have thought. And we are praying for everybody over there in Florida. I saw the news this morning, and I myself have personally lived through a couple of hurricanes, so I understand the unknown factor of what they're dealing with right now. And I just, I wish them all the best. Anything that we can do for Florida, please let us know. But Dina, you were talking about the lessons that we learn. So this was the first one.
Right.
It was actually, I mean, in your sense, it was still very successful. You just need to make some tweaks, correct?
Yes. Yeah, it was very successful. I mean, we literally sold out of tickets in, I don't know, like 10 days. So it didn't take us long to sell the tickets. We did, I think in my opinion, we did a fabulous job of advertising the event and getting information out and getting those tickets sold. And we sold tables. That was the way that we sold most of our tickets. So I think we only had, we had 17 tables because our sponsored table, our premier sponsors had 8 at their table. And then they got to be on everything. And the other tables were 10 tops. So they were a little more packed with people, but and they were in the front. The lessons learned, I would say, is that we used an automated auction site called GiveSmart. A lot of nonprofits use it. It's very good because it's a lot of fun because you can be talking to somebody and bidding on a silent auction. You can set auto bids. Our state uses it at the association level for RAPAC. So it allows you to be kind of stealthy in your bidding and have a little fun with the silent auction. And then also allows us not to have to deal with credit cards or cash or anything like that at the event. But it does take a lot more work than what meets the eye. I think there were a lot of people who attended, thought the event went off flawlessly. And for some of us behind the scenes, we were like, oh my gosh, we've got to do this and we got to do that. But the lessons learned is an event like that, where you have 160 people, you need a lot of volunteers, especially with a live auction, which is how we did the cakes and the desserts. We needed probably to have a few less live auction items so we could keep the evening moving. We ran a little bit longer than we had put on our time frame, but all in all, it was really good. So I think it's really evaluating, okay, did we have the right number of items to auction off? We had some technology issues with people getting into the auction site initially, making sure that everybody was registered on the site before they got there, which didn't necessarily happen. And then making sure that everybody, we recorded everybody's bid numbers appropriately and things like that so we could get them in. And we probably had to have somebody at a computer throughout the entire evening instead of, at the end trying to catch up on everything. So, we'll do a debrief in a couple of weeks because I'm actually going out of town later today and going to take a couple days off that was planned anyway. But we'll do a debrief and we'll have a packet for when we do this again next year. So we're not discovering everything as we decide to add something to the auction. So.
Well, I was there last night, and I tell you what, I think you're right. The audience, as far as we were all concerned, it went off flawlessly. And that's the way we want it to be when we have our guests there. We don't want them to realize that we're scrambling in the background. Dina, I can't thank you enough for coming to talk to us about this. Thank you for filling in at short notice. And I hope you enjoy your couple of days off. I'm looking forward to your next dessert auction. And do you think that if you had to decide, do you think that this was a great fundraiser that you will continue in the future? Or do you feel like that there's some things that it's more work than it's worth? What are your just quick thoughts if you had to make a decision today? Do you think it's something that's going to continue on in the future?
Absolutely. I think it could be one of our legacy events for our network. There's definitely a lot of opportunity. I mean, just what I looked at last night between the table sales, the live auction that we had collected so far, and the silent auction, I think we were close to $17,000. So obviously, we have to take our expenses off of that, which are primarily the caterer and the beverages and a handful of small items. But absolutely, it is. If done well, and we try to make it an elegant event. It's definitely something you can do again, and keeping the same theme. One of the things I learned from the Phoenix Zoo here is they have Zoofari, and they've done it for years, and is one of their biggest fundraisers. And pretty soon, what happens is you create FOMO, so people want to come because they hear about it. And when you have limited number of seats or limited number of opportunity to participate, you create that FOMO, which is what you want in any event.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to the future ones. And again, I thank you for your time. Our hearts and prayers go out to Florida.
Absolutely.
And Dina, go enjoy your vacation. You deserve it.
Thanks, Carolyn. Thanks for having me this morning. And if anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. And thank you so much for attending. I appreciate your taking the time to drive to where we were. So.
Yep, you got it. All right.
All right.
You have an amazing day.
Thanks. You too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.